Hey everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna just do a really, I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but I felt inspired this morning to do a reading specifically for this holiday that's coming up, the solstice, sort of the energies around what's happening right now. So I'm going to shuffle a couple more times and jump right into it. If you'd like to schedule a private reading with me, you can do so by clicking the link below. I also added a new reading. It's a year overview for 2019. So if you want to avail yourself to that, please do so. If you're interested in the coaching course, that's still open for enrollment. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages for this reading be divinely inspired. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon my ancestors, guides, ascended masters, higher wisdom, to be with me to protect this space, protect the energy, protect the listener. May these messages serve to inspire and transform. And so it is. So I want to just pull one card right off the jump for the overall energy of this holiday. Wow. We have the Ace of Cups. That is the this is a new beginning in matters of emotional importance. Okay, the cups are about emotions. This, by the way, is the Next World Tarot by Christy Road. I believe it's available for pre-order on their website. So the Ace of Cups showing up in the overall energy around this connection right now during this holiday season. This is really about getting into a space or wanting to come to a space where you're in an energy of emotional expression. It's like really coming into this space of growing, expanding, taking the time to look at what you want to create, what you want to bring into the world in this next phase of your life. So I feel like a lot of people right now who are on this journey are really looking to the next step. So, and that's good. You know, we want to continue to plan for our future. We want to continue to think about what it is that we want to create and what we want to be and how we want, who we want to be in the world moving forward. We also want to be aware of staying present and staying in the present moment. If we spend too much time in the future, we lose the beauty of the now. And so that's just something to be really conscious of. That overall, this to me feels like a new beginning emotionally. So it may not necessarily mean coming back together with your counterpart at the current time, but it does feel like there's some kind of regeneration. There could be some of you who are planning to do rituals for the solstice and for the full moon, really releasing old energies, creating new energies. If that's what you're planning to do, it feels like it's really aligned to do that, to release any stagnant energies and move forward into a new direction. So what is it that the masculine is bringing to the connection right now? We have the Hermit. So this is a card of really being in a place of introspection, seeking spiritual wisdom. So the masculine right now may or may not, whether you're in communication, whether you're not in communication, they really have gone within and they're in this spiritual examination phase. They're really looking at themselves. This is like the Hermit card. A lot of times people feel like they just go into, their man cave or their cave and just don't come out. But this is really about being in a space of retrospection. Really kind of, I feel like a lot of people are reaching the point of asking spirit for help. I feel like a lot of masculines are like, I've been doing this alone. I've been doing this on my own for a long time. And now I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to rely on spirit to really help me to figure out what needs to be changed, what needs to be done in my world. I'm getting this message that they're kind of in this space of thinking, the masculines are in this space of thinking, if I could have done this on my own by now, I would have. And so really recognizing that it's time to ask for help. And that's what they're doing. They're looking within spiritually. So they may be like joining spiritual communities or doing something along those lines, reaching out, reading more spiritual books, different things like that they're really looking within. So what is the feminine bringing? Death, transformation. So that to me really makes a lot of sense in line with these other energies that have shown up, that especially with this new beginning, the Ace of Cups, is that the feminines are really bringing this space, this energy of transformation. radical transformation. I'm getting this sense of really radical transformation. Some of you may have even started already. And I'm seeing things like, I'm seeing people going through closets and cleaning closets out, cleaning out drawers, emptying out old books and papers and just things that no longer serve. That is part of the transformation, is really going and cleaning things out, cleaning out your space physically, emotionally, mentally. I feel like a lot of feminines are just in this space of like, I'm ready to let the past die. I'm ready to let things go. And I'm going to go in whatever direction I'm prompted to go in, because it feels like it's time for something new. And in order for something new to begin, something old has to die, has to go away. I think there's a song that says that every new beginning comes with another new beginning's end. And so that's what people are understanding. Feminines are really understanding that right now, that in order to move into the future, we have to release the past. We can't hold on to things from the past anymore. That kind of just muddles up our energy and keeps us stuck. And so that's what the feminines are really starting to get, and really getting to that space. I feel like for a lot of feminines, like I keep coming back to this ritual, that I feel like a lot of feminines are really going to get into that space of ritual tonight, this evening, tonight, and really intentionally setting aside space and doing a releasing full moon ritual, solstice ritual, that's going to help shift that energy. And I'm really seeing people who do that waking up in the morning tomorrow feeling like, okay, it's a new beginning. Whatever 2018 energy brought with it is gone. It's moved through. I've released it. I've let go, and I'm ready for this new beginning. And so that feels really aligned. Again, this does not mean that you're leaving your connection or anything like that. It doesn't mean any of that at all. It means you're just releasing things and moving away from things that no longer serve. So whatever that might mean for you, self-destructive patterns, negative thinking, attachments, whatever that might mean is what you're going to be working through. So let me move this aside. I'm literally doing this spread as it came to me this morning. I was making breakfast for my children, and this spread just popped up, and I'm just literally doing it as Spirit has prompted. So what we're going to look at now is some, like the movie, or the story, I think it's A Christmas Tale, the Dickens story, The Ghost of Christmas Past, Christmas Present, and Christmas Future. That's what we're going to look at now. And so even if you don't celebrate Christmas like the traditional holiday, like I don't really celebrate it. Like I do for my kids, but it's not something that I particularly believe in. But this is going to be sort of what has influenced this connection in the past, what's currently influencing it, and what is going to influence in the future. And this is the Oracle of Visions deck by Cairo Marchetti. So the Ghost of Christmas Past. Well, we have the past. Look at that. This is a person who, if you see, is looking at the, kind of in a state of longing. I see Shakespeare there. I think that's Shakespeare. And there's really this sense of some discontent happening. I'm also aware of the apple and the serpent. So this is calling to reflection. The story of the Garden of Eden, Eve, and all of that. So what I'm seeing with this is just really this energy of somebody feeling like they might be stuck to the past. They might be in a space where they feel like they can't really let go or move forward in the way that they want to. And so there's some challenges with that. I also see that this is just somebody who's really in a space of thinking. This is about really analyzing and examining a situation, okay? This is also about, I feel like for a lot of people that some of the energy around this connection in the past has been around overthinking, overanalyzing, spending way too much time trying to figure out the nicety, the details of the situation, spending a ton of time on YouTube, watching videos, reading a lot of books or articles, really spending a lot of time. And I understand it, I really do, because it's such an intense connection that people really want to understand. But it's also about recognizing that we do have choice. We do have the freedom of choice to really determine whether or not we want to continue in this space of overthinking, and letting our mental space be a burden. So this is really about recognizing that you do have a choice about how you choose to go forward in this connection, how you choose to spend your energy, and whether you want to continue to be in this analytical, overly contemplative space, or if you want to kind of release and go into a different energy where you're not feeling so burdened by your thoughts. So this card is the Ghost of Christmas Past. It feels like people have been really weighted down by their thoughts, by their perspectives, by their perceptions, and it's time to really examine what you want to do going forward. Do you want to continue in that energy, or do you want to do something different? So the Ghost of Christmas Present, interesting. So if you look at this character, this person is held up by these birds. You see these birds are holding this person up by the string. And so there's like an element of faith, okay? There is an element of having to have faith and trusting, and asking for help, getting assistance, asking for support when you need it. This is as simple as and I say as simple as and as difficult as recognizing that you need help. This is something like, I'm thinking about the, what is the quote? Let me think for a second. The first step is admitting there's a problem. And that's like the first step, and it's like the easiest step, but it's also the hardest step. The first step is recognizing that you need help. It's like what that card that came up earlier, the Hermit, where the masculines were in the space of really being like, okay, I need to get some help here. I need some divine assistance. I can't do this on my own. If I could have, I would have. And so right now, I feel like people are starting to recognize that. People in these connections are starting to recognize that maybe they've been trying to do it on their own. They've been trying to do things the way that they felt they should, or that they felt they were being led to. And now they're recognizing that maybe they need to do things a little bit differently. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get assistance and support. It's really great, actually, to get assistance and support. So this is about really getting into a real exquisite space of asking for help when you need it without becoming too dependent on other people or other people's energy. So when I used to work as a therapist, I used to tell my clients that my job was to make them not need me anymore. That my job was to work them into a space where they didn't feel like they needed to come into therapy every week to cope with their situation. That they could, if they, that they can, but that they don't need to, that they're able to develop the coping skills and adapt to things in a more, standing on your own 2 feet. And so this is really getting into that space of asking for help, reaching out to spirit, asking your guides, calling on your ancestors when you need help, but also not being so dependent on other energies to get you through. So it feels like people are moving into a state of really conscious independence and interdependence. Interdependence being depending on each other, relying on each other, supporting each other without being like codependent where you can't function without the other. So what is the Ghost of Christmas Future? Oh my gosh, look at that. Like sands to the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. My cousins used to watch that show, and that is like in my head forever. So interesting here, because I'm noticing we have a 19, we have a 40, and we have a 49. So we've got a lot of repetitive numbers here. So this is like time passing. Okay. What I'm seeing with this really is just that people really need to understand that time always continues to flow. Life is continuing whether we're engaging with it or not. Whether we are actively participating in the manifestation of our blessings, or if we're sitting around waiting for things to happen, time will continue to pass. Time will continue to march on. And we have a choice about what we choose to do with this. Do we choose to stay stuck in this mental space where we're just constantly thinking and overthinking? Or do we choose to move things forward in a more positive direction? A lot of times what I feel, what I've seen, what I've noticed with people is that a lot of times people will spend an inordinate amount of their lifespan focusing on things that don't really matter. This is where the existentialist in me comes out, that people spend a lot of time focusing on the minutia, focusing on things that really aren't all that important. And then they reach the end of their lives and they're like, man, I wasted so much time. And when you start understanding that time is continually passing, like this minute right now is a minute that you never get back. Today is a day that you never get back. And so how you spend your time, how you invest your time is going to determine your level of happiness and contentment and peace and joy at the end of your life. And it feels like a lot of people going into the future are going to hold on to that wisdom and really know that they have a choice in how they spend their time in their life. That every investment that they make with their time is something that they're never going to get back, and choosing to expend that energy wisely. That is a really important wisdom that's coming through right now, is that people really coming into a space of understanding that to spend your life wisely, spend your time, because how you spend your time is how you spend your life. And if you're not spending it wisely, like if you're sitting around waiting for somebody to come back around, if you're putting your life on hold, hoping that someone's going to change their mind and come back to you someday, and then you're like, you do that, and then you spend however many years waiting, and that person never comes back, or you just don't feel like you spent your life well, that's not something that you want to do. You want to look back on your life and feel like you spent it wisely, that you invested your time, your life wisely. And I feel like that's what the ghost of the future is saying, that don't create a life. We create our life and our future by the decisions that we make every day, how we invest today. And so this is literally saying to me how that the ghost of Christmas future is saying, like, don't come back a year from now and be in the same space because you've chosen to spend your life the same way. Use your time wisely. Time that we have on this earth is a gift. It's all a gift. We don't have, it's a gift for us to be able to use the way that we, to the best possible end. So that's what the ghost of the future wants us to say, is like, don't look back in the past, a year from now, or 2 years, or 5 years from now, and feel like you didn't spend your time wisely. So let's move this aside, and I'm going to use the Sacred Rebels Oracle. I've been really feeling an affinity to this deck recently, and so I want to look at what the gift, okay? What is the gift right now that is being delivered in this holiday time? So Spirit, what is the gift under the tree for my listeners? For this dynamic community of love warriors, what is the gift? Okay, the gift is Heaven Sent. That's number 33. And y'all know whenever there's repetitive numbers, there's a reason for it. So let me look it up in the book. I know what I'm feeling about it, but I feel like there's a message that wants to come through. Okay, literally that's why Spirit wanted me to read it. It says, the first line says, just as we receive gifts in the physical world through the thoughtfulness of others to acknowledge how much we mean to them, so too we receive gifts on other levels, including the spiritual level. You guys, seriously, I'm asking, what is the gift? And then it's like, this is the gift. A spiritual gift is something that happens through grace. We can ask for help, and it may be given in response to that request. All requests for help are answered. A spiritual gift can also be given without us asking for anything at all, at least not consciously. Sometimes it is our hearts that cry out for help. While we are busy getting on with our to-do list, we don't often stop to think about what our hearts might need. If we do, and an immediate solution is not obvious, we just get on with life, either letting the issue be or taking the more painful option of dwelling on it without seeing how it might be resolved. However, there is a loving benevolence in life that knows exactly what we need and how it can best come to us, even when we are not quite so clear. This force actively seeks to assist us in walking our life path. That loving sweetness is being offered to you now, or soon will be, in the form of a spiritual gift. It may be symbolic. It may be something that seems ordinary, but holds a lot of meaning for you. It might be an object that catches your eye and mesmerizes you. You might think you are appreciating how lovely it looks, but it is the underlying energy that captures you. Something in the appearance, color, or shape speaks to you, and perhaps is an unspoken prayer. It is not the object that is the gift. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead. This oracle also brings you the message, let yourself be helped. Wow. That message has come through a couple of times. Assistance is coming your way, so act on it and say yes. This oracle also comes with the message that you are to trust in the things that you feel and say to others without knowing why. It moves them. You might not understand, but through trust, you are allowing yourself to not overthink and censor yourself. As such, you are able to become a vessel through which the spiritual gift can be passed on to others. Don't block yourself. Let life happen through you. Only benefit can come from this. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful message. And the healing process in this card is through unconditional love, I now accept the spiritual gifts that are bestowed upon me with complete trust and gratitude. So be it. So say that ritual on your own, maybe integrate it into your solstice ritual tonight. So let me go ahead and move this aside. And I want to use this deck. I actually thought it was a different deck that I was pulling out, but since it's here, I'm going to use this one. Around sort of what are the Grinch energies? You know, the Grinch of, that would be like blocks. So what's Grinching right now? That was the Sacred Rebels, by the way, by Alana Fairchild. And this is the Starry Cauldron Tarot. So the Grinch energies. So we have the Ten of Swords, pain, grief. Wow, the Three of Swords. And the Messenger of Wands. Interesting. So this is really, I mean, very, very clear message for me that's coming through right now. And that is that what is going on right now, part of the Grinch energy, the blocking energy, the not so positive, great energy, although I really do like the Grinch, by the way, is pain. We have, this is the Ten of Swords is the 10 swords in the back kind of energy. I apologize, I had to step away for a second, so I'm back. And what I was saying about the Grinch energy is that we have two of the most painful cards in this, in the tarot that are showing up right now. The Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords. This is the card, as I was saying, with the 10 swords, a person lying on the ground, 10 swords piercing their back. This is, I mean, deeply painful. Being stabbed in the back, betrayal, feeling like somebody that you loved or somebody that you trusted was not able to, or did not honor or keep your space sacred, and so there was a betrayal, there was a wounding. This is, you know, the Three of Swords is the card in the traditional tarot with the heart and 3 swords piercing it. So this is really about, excuse me, a heartbreak. You know, this is heartbreak. This could be suggestive of somebody, if your counterpart is in a third party situation where they might have betrayed you in some way. There might have been some betrayal where you felt stabbed in the back. Maybe they told you they were going to do certain things and then they didn't do it, and you've been really holding on to that. It's been really a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak. Maybe they chose somebody else. Maybe they went in a different direction and you're feeling a lot of pain about that. And so that's the thing, is that people need to understand is that as long as we're stuck in those energies, as long as we're stuck, you know, in that energy of betrayal and of pain, it's going to keep us from being able to move forward. When I was using this is interesting because I was, you know, like I said, this reading came to me this morning and it was like, I was told what questions to ask. And so the Grinch energy, I'm thinking about the Grinch, you know, was hurt, was rejected, and went up to the, you know, what is it, Mount Crumpet, and was just, you know, wallowing in self-pity and hated everybody, and really self-imposed isolation because of the pain. And so that's interesting that this is showing up for me for this reading right now, because I'm seeing a lot of pain. I'm seeing a lot of pain that people have been in. And so this is really about you know, sort of really along the lines of that whole story, because this Messenger of Wands is like inspiration. This is about having ideas. This is about recognizing your potential and kind of stepping into that energy of free spiritedness, not being bound. And so what I see is literally the trajectory of what happened to the Grinch, where it was a lot of pain, a lot of betrayal, a lot of heartbreak. and then coming back home to himself and to being having inspiration, feeling alive, feeling connected. And so I really feel like for a lot of people, if you choose to release this, it's not, I'm not saying that in a sense that like you can just be like, I choose to release this pain and it's automatically going to go away. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes intention. It takes a willingness to devote yourself to doing forgiveness affirmations or ho'oponopono for an extended period of time until that pain is gone. But if you can do that and commit to doing that, you're going to be able to release this energy and move forward in a more positive, joyful way, because that's what this is about. It's like really wanting, what Spirit's really wanting is for people to get back into a space of joy, of not feeling so beat down or like life is such a heavy thing anymore. And so that's really the message that Spirit wants to come through. So I'm going to go ahead and move this aside, and we're going to look at the messages of love. And this is the Universal Love Healing Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. So, I'm just going to pull 3 cards, messages of love. Moon tree, of course, we have a full moon. Oh my gosh, eternal flame. And golden path, beautiful, just gorgeous energies for this reading. The moon tree. Okay, so obviously what I first see is like we're having a full moon. We're having a full moon, the solstice. Today's also my grandmother's birthday. She passed away a number of years ago, but happy birthday, Grandma. But this is the moon tree. I'm really getting the message of love that Spirit's wanting to say is that there is a gift available in this moon energy that's happening right now. This is like people can really harness this full moon solstice energy to be able to transform their lives. That death card that came up, the transformation, that really you can tap into that energy and really use that as a transformative tool for your life going forward. This is also about this is saying, I want to read this to you from the book because I feel like it's important. It says, an old idea resurfaces. Conditions are now right. The moon is in alignment with your heavenly star. Nurture this idea. With love and positive energy, you will achieve positive results. The mysterious image on this card shows a majestic oak tree rooted in fertile soil. It has grown strong and tall, its branches reaching out to the sky, nourished by the light of a spiritual moon. This card also represents a marriage of some kind, the marriage of heaven and earth, the physical and the spiritual, or a sacred union through which something new is born. That, to me, is saying that the time is right for people to come into that inner mystical marriage where your inner masculine and inner feminine come into union. And when we come into union within, it can literally shift our entire external reality. So if that feels aligned to you, if you've been feeling called in that direction of doing like an inner mystical marriage, do that work. You've had an idea, you've had something, creativity, something that has been showing up for you that you may not have addressed up to this point. Now is the time. If you put something on the back burner, it's now the time to resurrect it. Then we have eternal flame. This is about that being really about understanding that this is an eternal flame. This is an energy of, twin flame energies. They are forever. If you're a twin flame, if you're truly a twin flame, and I say that because I feel like a lot of times people mistake energies, and that's totally fine. But if you're truly a twin flame, you're always going to be connected forever and ever and ever, for this lifetime, the next lifetime, and for every lifetime to come. And so it's like understanding that and recognizing that energy, it should give a sense of peace that we're always going to be connected regardless of what's going on in the physical reality. We're always going to be connected with our twin, and it's going to continue. If we don't figure it out this lifetime, we'll try it next lifetime. And so I'm not saying that to be flippant. I'm not saying that to be like it's not a big deal, because I know that for a lot, if it is a big deal, it feels very significant. But what I am saying is that on a soul level, we really can't screw this up. It's going to work out the way that it's meant to work out, and we have to just continue to have faith and trust. This eternal flame is still burning. Whether you feel it or not, whether you've been aware of it or not, it's still burning, it's still happening. And so continue to be in that space of trusting and believing that energy for yourself. Then we have the golden path. This, to me, is literally saying that people are on a golden path. People, it's like following the yellow brick road. You don't necessarily have to know exactly what's ahead. You just know that if you keep following this path, it's going to take you where you need to go. This is saying that you've been taking steps on the right path. Continue on that path. Even if it seems like there's obstacles or difficulties or you don't know what's going on, it's saying keep going. This is not the time for you to give up. This is not the time for you to bail on yourself or on your vision or on your dreams. Continue walking the path of unconditional love. Continue living and believing and trusting and having faith, because you are on the right path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. This is a card of confirmation that you are doing what you need to do, regardless of what has happened, regardless of the barriers or the obstacles or the questions. This card is showing up literally to say you're on the right path. Continue following it. Continue following the crumbs, like Hansel and Gretel, that spirit is throwing in front of you, because there are crumbs, there are signs, there are indications. What is that movie? It's Fools Rush In with Selma Hayek and I think Matthew Perry. And one of the things in that movie they talk about is that there are signs everywhere. There are signs that have been pointing you along the way. Continue following those signs. So let's just go ahead and pull this aside, and the final card for this spread is I'm going to pull one from the Rumi Oracle, and this is keeping in tradition with the Christmas energies, the message from the three wise men. And this is the Rumi Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I apologize if you can hear my offspring upstairs playing Fortnite or whatever. Blessing of Al-Hakim. Number 40. Lots of 40s today. Okay, it says, sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Cleverness is opinion. Bewilderment is vision. That's the poem by Rumi. It says, a blessing of divine wisdom of Al-Hakim is being ministered to your soul, watched over by Rumi himself. This is soul medicine. It is a spiritual gift of healing, prophecy, insight, and the capacity to surrender any impatient claim for what you cannot yet have. You guys, this is the second time that this spiritual gift has come up, so be mindful. Some of you might be downloading new spiritual gifts, like if you've not been clairaudient or clairvoyant or anything, things like that, that may be happening tonight. People are going to be being bestowed tonight or over the next few days, literal spiritual gifts. So as you receive this gift, this blessing which happens on a soul level, your attitude to life becomes more curious, open, still, and receptive. You no longer have to drive the unfoldment of your desires into form. You rest in assurance that your daily application and effort is enough, and so is your surrender. Mental anguish is soothed, and you're able to accept the unfathomable nature of divinity and its expression in itself as life. You become comfortable with the reality that the price of being closer to the divine is the giving up of your need to always understand. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. If you're uncertain about an issue in your life, be at peace. There is divine healing that can occur most readily in the unknowing. Follow the sacred honoring ritual and know that all is indeed well, beloved soul. Perhaps you are journeying very deep indeed, and your allegiance to your intellectual mind is softening in favor to your allegiance of your heart knowing. Let's see. This oracle also comes with special guidance to bring you peace. Look to the old ways, to the ancient wisdom teachings that run as one vein of life through giving love through all traditions. The old wisdoms teach of cycles of timing, of letting go to allow for new life to happen, and of the greater intelligence and scheme of life to which we must surrender if we are to ever know a moment's peace. So the sacred honoring ritual says, I call on the divine presence that loves me unconditionally, and I surrender to your wisdom. Bless me now with the ability to accept your grace, your bounty, and your gift of my life in all its mystery. Help me learn and grow that I may realize the love that lies within all, including my own being. May I dwell in the loving mystery of sacred compassion. I call upon the wisdom of the ancient ones, those who love me unconditionally and know truth. May your power and knowledge calm my mind and ignite my spirit, that I may be one with love, empowered in peace and purpose. So be it. So I hope that this Christmas reading was beneficial and that it gave you some insight. Please let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Bye.